Is it ever too late to start learning the piano? My answer to that is no, it isn't. Never. What you do need is obviously, number one thing, a piano. You need time, you need commitment, you need the right mindset, you need a good teacher. Then it's never too late. People can and do start in their 70s and 80s and progress really, really well. In fact, a lot of people have much more time. A lot of courses that I run for adult amateur students are filled with people of this age group who have perhaps been people who already played the piano really well and have been able to devote their life once they're retired, or devote their spare time to practicing and progressing, and the piano has become a real passion for them. There are students that start in their 60s, 70s, 80s when they've retired because it's something they've always wanted to do. Never had the time, something else has always got in the way. And now is an ideal time in many ways because they haven't got family at home. They haven't got so many commitments with work, perhaps, other things. They have got time to devote to what they really want to do. So you could say in many ways, this is a fantastic time to start learning the piano. And the choice is all yours. You're coming for a piano lesson because you really want to. Your mind's really open to learning. Do we learn as quickly as we get older? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. This is a really individual thing. Does it matter if you learn as quickly? No, of course it doesn't, because if you're doing this for not just a hobby but a passion, and you really want to develop your piano playing, there is no rush. You're not trying to get ready for an audition to go to music college. You're not trying to get ready to be the next up-and-coming star. You're doing this because the piano speaks to you in a really deeply personal way. And I'm always amazed at how many people it does do feel like that. I don't know why I'm amazed, because I feel like that. But of course I started when I was very young. And it's really wonderful actually to see people in their later years coming along, and I don't teach that many beginners, but I teach a lot of adult amateurs, and it's the joy that the piano brings is absolutely wonderful. For those who are starting out, I would say again, those things you need: a piano, a decent piano as well, with a nice even tone and even touch, weighted keys that will allow you to develop a really, strong technique, because we need a strong technique. That doesn't mean, by the way, that you need to do hours and hours of Hanan a day, and in fact, please don't. It can be quite damaging. The jury's out on this. There are people who would argue very strongly with me, and there are people who would argue against those people, who would really be very much in agreement with what I'm saying. My personal opinion is you don't have to do hours of Hanan, but do learn your scales, because scales and arpeggios are the foundation of everything we do and learn at the piano. They're not just technical exercises, so having that harmonic foundation will really stand you in good stead. Having that keyboard geography foundation will really stand you in good stead. What else do you need? Patience with yourself. Can you learn just from online lessons? Well, people do. Is it ideal? I personally don't think so. When I say online lessons, I don't mean having a really good teacher who is teaching you via video. That is perfectly acceptable. We have a lot of young artists that learn that way. I teach people from all over the world. As long as you've got the right equipment for that, that's absolutely fine. However, when I say online, can you learn from videos? People can and do, but the problem is with that, you have no one checking your technique. You have no one making sure you are using the right hand shape or using the right finger patterns, because you will get, if not, you'll get to a certain level and then it will all come unstuck, because you, as the music gets harder, as the repertoire gets harder, you won't be able to go further, because you will tie yourself up in knots if you haven't developed a good technique, if you haven't developed some strong foundations. So there's only so far we can go with these things. Is it good to try that first and then come to piano lessons? I'm going to say no. And the reason why I'm going to say no is because I have people that have tried this and then come to me, and there is so much to undo. When we have to undo bad habits, it's almost like we're learning something twice, because we've got to undo those habits and then learn the correct habits. So you've set yourself up for a lot of extra work. You don't have the same guidance. You don't have that pair of eyes, pair of ears to listen to you, to oversee what you're doing, to give you hints, tips, advice, and correct you if your posture is wrong, if your technique is wrong, if it's working against you. So these are things that, the reasons why I don't think it's a great idea to just learn online without a teacher. And with a teacher, I mean a good teacher. So what a lot of people don't know is that piano teaching is a very unregulated profession. When I say very, it's actually totally unregulated. So anybody can set up as a piano teacher with no qualifications, no checks, no. So you need to make sure the person you're going to does really, really know how to help you. And it's really better if you can find somebody who is well qualified and very experienced. How can you go about that? Well, in the UK, you can explore both the ISM, that's the Independent Society of Musicians, and EPTA, the European Piano Teachers Association, have lists. You can go on their websites and you can search for a teacher there. If you want a teacher to go to face-to-face, then you can find someone in your location. If you're happy with online, then you can do that as well. And most teachers these days do also offer online lessons. Can you progress without a teacher? Some people do, but I would say it's more likely a no than a yes. Again, it's all about the habits, and that's how people end up in our studios, because they've tried to teach themselves, they've tried with the help of videos, they come along and they have got blocks, and the blocks are more often than not to do with technique, to do with weight, as in putting enough weight into the keys, which again is related to technique, posture, and fingers. So this doesn't mean, this is not necessarily to do with dexterity, but your dexterity won't develop if you haven't learned proper finger patterns, if you haven't learned how to get around the piano effectively from one place to another. So it is really important to do your research. Word of mouth is another great way to find a good teacher. Don't search for the cheapest teacher if you want to learn well. Often that will be an unqualified teacher or a very inexperienced teacher who isn't able to help you, isn't able to spot what it is exactly that you need. As a good teacher, you have to be able to watch, observe, listen, and I'm going to say the word diagnose, but it kind of is like that. Diagnose, okay, there's the problem, or there are the problems. How can we fix these? How can I help the student? What is it that they need? So this is where being a pianist, being qualified, understanding these things, being experienced, all come into play. So these are all really important things, but one of the biggest things you're going to need if you're starting the piano slightly later in life is patience. It's a journey and you need to enjoy the process. Personally, I love practicing. I've always loved practicing. As a child, I had to be dragged off the piano, not dragged to it. I love the process of learning new music. It fascinates me. I love working out what it is I need to do to be more effective, to play it better, to get around more quickly. For me, that's an absolute joy. So I would say patience is a big thing, and have a mindset that this is a journey and you're not racing to the finish line. It's not that kind of subject, playing the piano. It's something that will stay with you for the rest of your life and will take you through the rest of your life if you give it the time, the space and the patience that it needs. I really hope that you do decide to take up the piano. I really hope you don't let age or being a little bit later in years to be a beginner. It doesn't matter. Our teacher's going to be impatient with you if it takes you a bit longer. No, a good teacher won't be. It's really important to have the right fit though. Really, really important. And it may be that it's just the teacher that you choose initially, things don't just quite work out, you don't gel, or they don't quite know how to help you. So don't be afraid to try a teacher, and then if it's not working out, to say so. Again, a good teacher they'll acknowledge that if it's not working out, they'll know as well, and a good teacher might even say to you, look, I'm not sure if I'm the right person to help you. So it's really important to have your plans aligned as well. So good luck with it all, and don't let anything put you off.